The man was staring through the window at us. The sound of the handle moving had me quickly double-checking to confirm the door was locked.
"Why isn't he going away with the others?"
asked Jared. "Good question," I said. The man turned around to face outside. It was too hard to tell what was happening through the small window, but we could hear a loud commotion coming from the garage.
"He's leaving,"
said Jared, as the man started walking away from the door. I looked through the window again and saw the other people coming back into the garage and towards us. One person stayed back, unmoving. "That looks like Rick back there. What do you think is wrong?" I asked, not expecting an answer.
"Maybe he already changed to whatever they are from one of the shots we gave him,"
said Jared. Ali squeezed my hand tight. I looked down at her and said, "We'll go back with the others and find a safe way out of here." The man turned to face us again and shook his head from side to side as the people in the garage kept walking towards the door. They began grabbing at the handle and pounding on the door. "Let's go," I said, grabbing Ali's hand and rushing down the hall. Jared followed closely behind. "What happened?" Mrs. Barnes asked when we entered the training room. "They don't like Rick either," I said. "We think one of the shots changed him before they did, which doesn't seem to be the agreement Rick had with them."
"I'm sure we don't have much time before they break down the door,"
Jared said. "What about the others in the basement?" Ali asked. "We have to go get them." I was sure that we wouldn't have time to get them, especially if they were still asleep or just waking up. "We can get out of here and come back for them," I said. "Trish is barely moving. Carolyn is just waking up. And Jessica will need help too, so it'll be tough getting out quickly," Katie said. Our large group of survivors had dwindled down to just the 8 of us. But there was still hope of getting the others if we could escape and draw the changed people away from here. Ali and I grabbed whatever supplies we could, while Mrs. Barnes picked up Carolyn, and Jared and Katie assisted Jessica and Trish. Ali and I led the way out of the training room and towards one of the fire escape doors in the back of the building. We turned down the hallway and stopped quickly. Through the window in the door, I could see at least 5 people standing there, looking in at us. We tried another one, and it was the same. "Go back to the training room," I shouted. "We'll have to barricade ourselves in there." The pounding on the door was sounding more intense, and I was sure the door would give way any minute. After everyone made it back to the room, we locked the doors and began piling everything we could in front of them. Suddenly, we heard a loud crash, followed by footsteps running down the hall. Our barricade of cots and tables and chairs looked like it would be too weak to stop them. It wasn't long before they were all pounding on the door to our room. We all ran to the closets in the back of the room, and I had Ali go with Trish and Carolyn into the closet. I hugged Ali as tight as I could and told her I would do whatever I could to keep her safe, and that I loved her more than anything in the world. She was crying when I closed the closet doors. Trish and Carolyn were likely too delirious to know what was happening. The pounding grew louder, and it sounded like the frame around the door was cracking and about to give way. Finally, the doors burst open and into the barricade. They started pushing against the tables. I couldn't tell how many of them there were, but it sounded like a lot. Then, suddenly they stopped and stood there, looking through the gaps in the barricade. After another minute or so, they turned around and started leaving.
"What's happening?"
asked Jared. "I don't know," I said, as I cautiously stepped towards the door. I looked through the opening and saw everyone continuing down the hallway away from us. Jared came over and helped me move away some of the tables and chairs. Then we kept a good distance behind them as they made their way back into the garage. The door to the garage was barely hanging on after they broke through. "No," I said. Arvin and his family were walking through the other door into the garage, and outside were the other changed people. The rest of our group that was downstairs soon followed behind.
"That's why they're leaving. They got what they wanted,"
said Jared. I didn't say any more. This was devastating. After so much loss, and then finally some hope, to experience this again was too much, but I held it in. I had to. Ali still needed me. Let's go get the others, I said. We can't stay here any longer. I don't know when they'll be back, but I'm sure they want more. We walked slowly back to our small group in the training room and broke the news to them. Tears and hugs followed, and we knew we had to continue to stick together and keep fighting to stay alive. After we collected ourselves, we gathered up some supplies. Carolyn was almost back to normal and was talking to her mum. Trish was moving more, but wasn't talking yet. I'm not sure how much sedative Rick had given her, but it must have been more than the others. We left all the food behind, as we didn't know if Rick put something in all of it. It was going to be another challenge for us trying to find more food. We went back out to the garage, and Jared checked to make sure the changed people were all gone. After he gave us a thumbs up, we went over to our vehicles and split up. Ali, Trish, Katie and I in one, and Carolyn, Mrs. Barnes, Jessica and Jared in the other. The plan was just to keep driving north to see what we would find.